Hello. I'm going to start off with I'm sorry. Oh, so sorry. That was a song back in the 1950s, I think, maybe 40s, 50s, 60s, something like that. And the song, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. This is a common theme that a lot of people do is they say I'm sorry for things that they don't really mean they're sorry for. It looks like there's some people watching live. This is my first live video that anybody's actually popped in here. So just say hi so I can know, is there really somebody there? Hello? Hello? Is this thing working? And so I wanted to today talk about the words I'm sorry or saying sorry. I remember there was this one job that I worked um, probably like 10 years ago, actually 15 years ago or so. And I was a legal secretary working for managing partner of this law firm. And one day he said to me, so I used to CC him on any emails that I sent outside of the office just so he would know what was going on. And one day he said to me, he said, Linda, I want you to look at your emails and I want you to see how many times you say, I'm sorry in an email or sorry, or you apologize for something in the emails. And it was 3 or 4 times in every email that I sent out of the office that I was saying, I'm sorry. And he said, here's what I want you to do from now on is I want you to, after you write your email, before you hit send, I want you to read your email and I want you to remove any instance of apologizing, of saying, I'm sorry. He said, because we're not in the business to excuse ourselves for what we do. We are here to provide solutions instead of sorries. And at the time, I was like, first of all, oh my God, I cannot believe I'm saying I'm sorry all the time. And then I noticed, so the more I started following this system, for lack of a better word, of write the email, read it, look for sorries, apologies, and all that stuff, and then erase them because they were not pertinent to those emails at all. In no way, shape, or form were they necessary in those emails. And what I noticed is that I was doing that in my own life, not just in emails, but I was doing that when I would speak. I would say I'm sorry for things and working on that. I worked on that really hard to only say I'm sorry if it's something that saying sorry is really going to serve anybody, them or me. And what I noticed is that it turned me into, instead of a person who's always apologizing for things and apologizing for non-things, which I find is kind of common for a lot of, especially women. I know a lot of women who say I'm sorry so much that the words don't even mean anything anymore. This is kind of sorry is a board game. Yeah. Oh my gosh. That was such a fun game. I remember that when I was a kid. Um, but women, I know women who will just say sorry so much that even it doesn't even mean anything anymore. And this is one of the things that happens to words. Right? When we say something, when we call somebody a name or we say something that's derogatory and we say it over and over and over and over again to the point that it's like a word that gets desensitized. I guess that's kind of the best way I can describe what I'm thinking right now is it gets desensitized and it no longer holds any meaning. The word does not hold meaning because when you say it and you say it all the time, it no longer holds meaning because there's no connection to it. There's no mental connection. There's no physical connection. There's no feeling, no sensation connection to it anymore because you just have sorried it out of the picture. It just doesn't have any purpose. So it got me thinking today. I was thinking about this because there was an incident that happened very recently where where I didn't show up. I totally forgot, and I didn't show up. And I had an option. Option number one: say I'm sorry, apologize, and try to fix it, or ask them what can I do to make up for me not showing up. But then I realized by me asking the question, because a lot of times what happens is when when we say I'm sorry, a lot of times this will follow with, what can I do to make it up to you? Okay. I'm so sorry that happened. What can I do to make it up to you? So what's happened is we've said I'm sorry. And then a lot of times the person on the other end will go on the, um, I'm not sure what word to use, but they'll go to a point of saying, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Things like that, right? Or they might just ignore us. Like there's so many different ways it can go. But then what happens is we say, what can I do to you? What can I do to make it up to you? What we've done then is we've turned our sorry into a problem for them to solve. So we've said, I'm sorry. What can I do to make it up to you? Now they have to think, what can they do to make it up to me? What can they do? So now they're going and thinking about this, right? We've created a problem for them. So what if instead of saying, I'm sorry, we say something along the lines of, um, like for this instance, I said something came up, which made me forget. Something came up. Let's do this. Let's reschedule to this date and time. So I gave a solution. Let's still do this, but let's do it on a different date. Now, was that the right way to do it? I don't know. But I gave a solution. I didn't want to just leave it up to them to have to figure out a way to make it up. So we did it. We showed up. And what ended up happening is the session actually ended up being a lot better than it would have been had I shown up previously, because something had happened that made me learn something new that I could provide to them. So it's really cool. I started thinking about how I'm trying to see how to see the messages here, because this is okay. I see. I see how to see them. Oh my gosh. Hello, y'all. It's so good to see you. Eva, Heather, Maria, Forever Curious. Ooh, I like that name. Jim, Brian, thank you all so much for being here today. Shelly, Luke, Mohammed, Harshi, Vladimir, I think I said that right. But I'm just curious, like for you all, when you have a situation where something doesn't go right, do you apologize? Do you say I'm sorry a lot? Is this something you notice? Do you have people in your life that say, you sure do say I'm sorry a lot? Or do you say I'm sorry a lot and they're not telling you that? Because my one friend who, I swear to God, she says it probably every 4 or 5 sentences. I mean, it's so much. It's just her vocabulary. And I remember pointing it out to her one day, and I just said, do you know that you say sorry all the time? I do not. I was like, okay, okay. And then the next time I saw her about a month later, she was like, oh my God, you're so right. Thanks for pointing it out. I'm working on not saying I'm sorry so much. But anyway, that being beside the point, when we can provide a solution rather than being sorry, it's better for the other person, and it's also better for us, because who wants to walk around their whole lives being sorry for everything? I know I don't wanna be. I don't wanna be. And so what happened was my boss, who taught me that, 15 years ago, it put me on a mission to not never say I'm sorry, because I do apologize, but I'm being more mindful about when I apologize and making sure that it's like legit, that I really, truly, truly am sorry for what happened, because it's something I don't even know how to explain what I feel about the sorry, saying sorry, but it's something that I've worked really hard on, because it was when I would say I'm sorry back in the day, it didn't have any meaning behind it. They were just words that I was taught. Like, that's what I was taught. Say, um, uh, okay, you hurt your sister, say I'm sorry. It started at a very, very young age. And then I taught my kids the same thing. You hurt your sister, say I'm sorry. I remember Timmy, my son, When he was little, I would say, "Timmy, you hurt your sister, say I'm sorry." And he would say, "But I'm not sorry." And he wasn't, but I forced him to say I'm sorry. So I created that within him to say I'm sorry even if he doesn't mean it. So I just think, "I'm sorry, oh, so sorry." Who sang that song? I don't remember. But saying I'm sorry, it's not always the words to say, but let's provide a solution instead. Let's figure out ways to, instead of saying I'm sorry for something, is to figure out like what can we do differently in order to provide a solution for the person on the other end that we're feeling obligated maybe to. Oh, that's a video I'm going to do about obligation. I'm going to do a video about that next. Not next, like right now, but I'll do a video about that. Okay, let's see here. Thanks, girl. Let's see. Hey, Jenna. Thanks, girl. Helpful not to be too casual with an apology, asking forgiveness while minimizing the pain. And also, I love that. Yeah. So asking forgiveness while minimizing the pain, but then also providing a solution, right? So if we can provide a solution on the other side, it might end up being a lot better. I have seen that happen time and time and time and time again, where something has happened and, I've provided a solution that ended up being better. I've had many times where I've had situations happen where something had to cancel or be postponed, and I've had times where, okay, so this is a great example. I've had times where I've had something on my calendar and like we scheduled it, a month, 2 months before. And then that day comes and something comes up and I'm like, "Ugh, I really want to cancel because, this other thing came up." And then I got the person I was like scheduled to have an appointment with. Let's say it was Jane, and so Jane and I were scheduled to meet in like an hour, for example. And then Jane sends me a message and says, "I can't meet today because something else came up. Like, let's reschedule." And I'm like, "Thank goodness, because I wanted to cancel on you, but I just didn't want to, like, I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to cancel. But this is so good for me." Right? So she was like, "Oh, I didn't want to cancel on you." And I'm like, "I don't want to cancel on you either." But we both wanted to cancel. you know? So it's really kind of crazy how it ended up being better for both of us because I was able to do the thing that I wanted to do. She was able to do the thing that she wanted to do. And then we just rescheduled to another day. But neither of us said, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry." We just created a new solution. And then we ended up having our meeting, which ended up being fantastic. There's Ginger, spicy Ginger. Was it spicy? No, that wasn't it. There was some other, I think you said spicy, Spice-alicious. So everybody, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you. And stop apologizing. There's that book out there. I think her name is Rachel Hollis. I have not read the book myself, but it's called Girls Stop Apologizing. I've heard a lot of great things about it. If you've read the book, please, drop a comment below and let us know. Was it a good book? If so, what was like one thing you learned from that book? Let us know. And I'd love to know. I mean, is it a book I should buy? Is it a book I should read? We're starting a book club called the Business Breakthrough Book Club in January 2026. And I already have all the books lined up for 2026, but we might add like a bonus book, Girls Stop Apologizing. That might be a good one to add. Sometimes not offer a solution, just compassion. I may not have an answer. My daughter rarely wants words. However, I hear you about my daughter's the same way, right? However, I'm definitely convicted about just throwing it out. "I'm sorry." I do it because I don't know what else to say. And sometimes some silence is the best thing we can do. I know I've learned that with my daughter for sure. She's 40, so 41, just turned 41. And it's been hard, with a girl and not really knowing what to say. And what I've learned with her, at least, is sometimes the best thing for me to say is absolutely nothing. We've had a very strained relationship, her whole life since she was probably 3 years old. Yeah, the first 2 years were okay, but starting at age 3, just a trying relationship. I'll just put it that way, a trying relationship. And we're getting better and better and better, but it's not it's a lot of it is because, like, she's doing better and I'm doing better with our relationship, but a lot of it is because I've learned to just not say anything. And boy, is that hard. 'Cause I wanna fix everything for her, you know? But I don't know that I even have the answers, but I, do my best in order to be there for her and you listen with compassion and understanding, and sometimes that's hard, you know? Life is hard. Life is hard. So, with that said, though, does anybody wanna come up here and talk with me? Anybody wanna come up here and talk about this conversation? If you do, put "talk" in the chat, and I'll see if I can invite you on here. This is I see a little button there. It looks like I can add somebody to the conversation. I'm not sure how that works. I'm gonna hit it, and I'm gonna see, 'cause I see that somebody's still here. Let's see here. Hold on a second while I figure this out. Uh, okay, I'm gonna see what happens when I do this. Using these new apps, right? Learning how to use them. There we go. Uh, okay, Jenna, I just sent you an invite to join. If you don't want to, don't accept it. I just wanted to see what would happen, if I sent an invite. Um, but if you wanna join, please do, and if not, no worries. I'm just testing it out. It says waiting for you. But it's cool. I can invite somebody onto one of these. Ooh, that's gonna be fun. Okay. I'm gonna have a lot of fun doing these lives over here on Substack. I've done thousands of lives over on Facebook and, haven't done I think I've done 2 or 3 here on Substack, and I'm gonna start doing more of them because for me, this is my way of writing, is speaking. This is my way of writing, and I'm not much of a writer. I do, like writing. It's kind of funny because I'm here on Substack, which is a writing platform, but writing is not my number 1. I've never been much of a writer, was never much of a reader until I started reading, business development books, and now I'm published in over 46 number 1 international best-selling books, but I'm still not a writer, My, preferred method it's a challenge for me to come on to Substack and actually write something. I have to be very, let's see, I have to be very aware of what I want to write, and I have to remind myself to come over here. But I saw this live button, and I said, "Let me push that live button. Let's do it. Let's go live. Let's see what happens." So, with that said, I'm gonna end for the day because my husband just came home. They were out feeding the ducks in the neighborhood, and he just came home, so I'm gonna, go check it out, see what he's got going on. Y'all have a great, great day, and thanks for being here. Truly appreciate you, and keep getting those Substacks out there. I'm reading so many great messages from people and, commenting on his and a lot of them and, liking hitting that heart button for a lot of them as well. And, keep writing. You're really inspiring so many people, and your words do matter. So keep writing. Have a great day, y'all. Bye bye now.